All right. A lot has happened since we last saw you. Democrats are very clear. The Republicans need to slow down or else.
Well, listen, elections have consequences. And in 2016, the country elected Donald Trump. And in 2018, the country expanded the Republican Senate majority, including in the state of Missouri, my seat. That's when I was elected. And the Supreme Court was very central to that. So it's time to move forward with the nomination. For years, Republican senators have promised that they would confirm pro-Constitution, pro-life justices to that bench. Now it's time to do it. No more stealth nominees, no more secret moderates. We need a strong, tough conservative, someone who understands that Roe, for instance, was wrongly decided, someone's going to stand up for the Second Amendment, for religious liberty. It's time to put that kind of a person on the bench.
What would the timeline look like? Because the president said he's going to nominate a woman, and he will make the announcement this week. If he makes that, what happens in the weeks before the election?
Well, I think then the nominee would come and meet with senators. You'd have the background checks done, and the Senate Judiciary Committee would need to proceed to hearings as quickly as possible, public hearings, so that we could ask the nominee questions. The public can get a sense of who she is and what her views are, and then a vote would follow, a vote in the committee, and then a vote on the floor would follow after that. I do think there's enough time to get this done before the election. I think we need to proceed with that goal in mind. Let's not wait. Let's not dither. Let's not sit on our hands. We are elected here with a job to do, and let's get it done.
All right, so this is what Joe Biden said when he heard this. He says, I'm talking to those few level-headed Republicans. Listen to Joe Biden urging Republicans not to go where you want to go.
Action and reaction, anger and more anger, sorrow and frustration at the way things are in this country now politically. That's the cycle that Republican senators will continue to perpetuate if they go down this dangerous path. So I appeal to those few Senate Republicans, the handful who really will decide what happens. Follow your conscience. Don't vote to confirm anyone nominated under the circumstances President Trump and Senator McConnell have created. Don't go there. Uphold your constitutional duty, your conscience. Let the people speak.
Already, Collins and Murkowski seem to have listened. What do you think? Are people looking at Mitt Romney and saying, what about him? What do you think?
Well, I think that if Joe Biden gets elected president, then he can nominate Supreme Court justices, and then we can have that process. But listen, right now, Donald Trump is the president. The Senate is in Republican hands. And I come back again to the fact that voters expanded the Senate majority for Republicans in 2018. And let's not forget, the Supreme Court was a very central issue. I don't know how Republican senators will be able to explain to the people who elected them if they do nothing in the next few weeks, if we just sit around and do not move forward on a nomination. We were sent here to confirm pro-Constitution, pro-life justices to the bench. My view is we've got to move forward with that.
Sure. Of course, going forward, the big question is the timing and everything else. The Democrats have suggested, in fact, Congressman Joe Kennedy III said, if he holds a vote in 2020, we pack the court in 2021. It is that simple. We did hear the president did come out with a second list of nominees. Your name, Senator, was actually on it, as you well know, within the last couple of weeks. But it sounds like right now, at this point, the front runners are Amy Coney Barrett, who's an appeals court judge. We've seen her before, but also a new name, Barbara Lagoa. She's 52. She's an appeals judge in the 11th Circuit. She's from Miami. She's a daughter of Cuban exiles. And reportedly, the White House likes the idea of her because she's from Florida. And we're in an election year, 43 days out, and he needs Florida.
I would just say this, that the president is the first president of my lifetime, I think, to make a commitment when he ran in 2016 to appoint pro-life justices who understand that Roe versus Wade is a travesty, it's judicial imperialism, who understands that that is a window, that case, into a judge's philosophy. So I think it is vitally important. And I've said I'll only vote for a justice for the Supreme Court who understands that Roe was wrongly decided, who understands the difference between upholding the Constitution and imposing their own views. Also, we've got to get somebody who supports the Second Amendment, religious liberty, and who's going to be tough. So I would just say that the most important focus has got to be that judge's judicial philosophy, their toughness, their ability to stand in there and to do what the Constitution says.
So Steve told you about Congressman Kennedy saying pack the court. We heard Nancy Pelosi saying she has all these arrows in her quiver. She has options. Senator Ed Markey says Mitch McConnell set the precedent. No Supreme Court vacancies filled in an election year. If he violates it, when Democrats control the Senate in the next Congress, we must abolish the filibuster and expand the Supreme Court. What do you think?
Well, actually, Harry Reid set the precedent when he abolished the filibuster for Supreme Court justices years ago when the Democrats had the majority. So they're the ones who set the precedent here. They lost the election in 2018. They lost seats in the Senate. They lost the election in 2016. They lost the White House. So listen, if they win back those things, then they'll be able to confirm and nominate their own justices in the future. But to say because they lost elections, that now that they will break all of our constitutional norms and standards, they'll pack courts, they'll conduct impeachment hearings to stop a president from carrying carrying forward his constitutionally authorized privileges and responsibilities. That's insane. I mean, I hope voters listen carefully. This is the same party that looks the other way while rioters and looters burn down our towns. Now the Democrats are saying they'll burn down the Constitution. These people should not be in power.
And Senator, what they would say to you is you left the Republicans left Merrick Garland on ice for 9 months, and now the Republicans are saying we're not going to wait a month for their nominee. That's the pushback, you know it. Senator Schumer says if they go ahead with this, meaning the Republicans, goodbye health care protections for pre-existing conditions, women's rights, gay rights, workers' rights, labor rights, voting rights, civil rights, climate change also at risk. Are you going to do all those things?
Yeah, I mean, it's all the usual Democrat talking point nonsense. I mean, the truth is that back in Merrick Garland, at the waning days of the Obama presidency, that predates my time in the Senate. But the fact of the matter is you had a Republican Senate and a lame duck Democrat president who wasn't up for re-election. Senate hadn't confirmed a justice in those circumstances in over 100 years. Very different now. In 2018, we expanded our Republican Senate majority. We have a Republican president. I mean, this is a circumstance in which voters have elected Republicans to move forward. And again, if the Democrats win elections, guess what? They'll have the opportunity to nominate or confirm, but they haven't. And so now it's our responsibility.
Exit question, Senator. You're there at the Judiciary Committee. If the president names somebody this week, how many days until it could be done?
You know, I don't know the answer to that. I think it can be done pretty quickly. We've got to get materials from the White House. There'll be background checks that can be done. Less than 3, I would think. I would hope in the range of a week. It'll be up to the chairman, Lindsey Graham, to put a schedule together. But I'll just tell you, I think it should come as quickly as possible. We need to move forward here.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you.
Thank you.